Hello, sweeties. Here the lesson six that we are going to talk about today. I hope you get some clarifications about the other tenses, like perfect tenses that we talked about, and the conditional that we declared. So here we have the different topic, which is a correlative conjunctions, which is very important in speaking or writing English. That gives um, more importance for our writings or speaking. So I'm going to explain the correlative conjunctions today, and I think this lesson will be too much long, but I hope you enjoy it and listen to me if you'd like to get some information about the correlative conjunctions. Here is the definition that you can go through with me. Correlative conjunctions are pairs of conjunctions that link words, phrases, or clauses. They must always connect to things that are grammatically similar. It means that the same structures applied for them, such as here we have both and, neither and, either or. Um, in American accent, they say neither, but in British, they say neither or either. But American is either or, neither. Um, I think you've heard these words before, I'm pretty sure, but you may don't know how to use them, so we are gonna go through them. The first one we will talk about is both and both of. And I will show you how to both and both of in different ways. So they have different not functions, they have different usage. So um, please be careful and listen to me. Both with nouns. Here are some functions that you can apply for both and both of. That could be a noun, that could be the subject or object pronoun, and that could be used as a pronoun. And we have some different usage. The first one, both with nouns. When we use both before a determiner, a, and, the, his, or any determiner that we have, plus noun, both and both of can be used. In some cases, you cannot use both or both of in as a same structure, so they have different structures. For example, we have both of the girls went to the party. Here is used as a subject of the sentence or as a noun here. So both of the girls went to the party. Um, what's different here, as I said, if we have both girls, you don't have to use of the, but if there's a plural noun like girls, you have to use of the. So if it's only a singular noun, using both is appropriate, so you don't have to say both of the girls. You have to say both girl went to the party. The doctor saw both of my children. Or this can directly come before a noun. Yeah, as I said, you can say both cats are female. But if we have a determiner, both the cats, you cannot say that. You have to say both of the cats. If here is the determiner and it's plural, so you have to use of. Both of, not both. Here the different function, both with the subject or object pronoun. This is the formula that we have to have a subject pronoun plus both. You cannot have both plus subject pronoun. This is the example. They both arrived at the same time. We both prefer coffee. Here we have the subject of a sentence, subject pronoun they and we. And after that, we have both to refer to two same things. We both prefer coffee. They prefer the same thing, so you have to use both. This is the different formula here, both of plus object pronoun. If you have an object pronoun, so you have to use both of. mostly after are prepositions. I know it's kind of complicated, but you have to have a basic information about the grammar structures in order to understand this lesson. For example, you have to know what's object pronoun or how subjects used, and also you have to know what's the prepositional phrases and how prepositions are used. That makes um, much more sense for you if you have a basic information about the grammar structures. Um, there's the example for both of plus object pronoun that will be so important for both of you. Here we have for you, which is the prepositional phrase, and use the object pronoun of the preposition for here. So when you use both, you have to have a both of you. That will be so important for both of you. She bought 2 books and read both of them. Here we have the verb read, and we have a direct object, which is them, direct object. And when you use both of them to refer to two things, so you have to have both of, not both only. The third function here is a using both as a pronoun. Sorry. This can be used on its own as a pronoun. You can use it alone like a subject pronoun in a sentence, or like yeah, as a subject pronoun. There are 2 books on the table. You have 2 books, which plural, and you can say both are written in English. Or you can say both books, or both of the books are written in English. Here both refers to the books in the first sentence. We have some different positions of both that refers to the subject of a clause. First one, the both loved the English class in school. Um, Here is the subject of a sentence, the both. You can use any noun or subject instead of both here. They had both been rejected to be given a job in an engineering project. Here are some different uses as depends on the verb we have. So the first one, we have a simple verb that you have to use both as a subject before the verb we have. But here we have the main subject of a sentence, and when you use both, that could come after the verb we have, because here is the compound verb had been rejected. The perfect tense. Here, the books were both very useful and significant. You cannot say the books both were very useful and significant. This depends on the verb you have. The last but not least function we have is we can also use have. Sorry, we can also have both and as a linking expression to emphasize the link between two things. Here the different uses of both with and that can refer to two things together that they are similar, as we talked about in the definition we have. Yeah, you can have different prepositions or different conjunctions with both. Like here we have and in the previous tenses we have of with both. She's interested in both reading and playing guitar. Um, Here we are talking about the things that she is interested in. So you cannot have the thing that she's interested in and the thing that she's not interested in. So they have to have the same structure. She's interested in both reading and playing guitars. These two we have with both refers to the things that she's interested in. The second one, John played both soccer and baseball. Here we have 2 kinds of games that she would like to play. Here's the note for you. Both cannot be used in a negative form or statement. So we usually use neither or either as a verb, as the adverb with negative verbs that we are going to cover later. we have to use neither or either instead of both in negative form. So you don't have to use, or you cannot ever use um, both or both of or both and in a negative form. Here we have an example. Neither of them can swim. You cannot say both of them can't swim. It doesn't make sense. You have to figure out from the meaning that how can we use these conjunctions we have. Yeah, depending on the meaning, it's much more easier for you instead of just memorizing this stuff on the formulas we have. I don't want either of them, so you cannot say I don't want both of them. Doesn't make sense at all. Well, and the second one, the second correlative conjunctions we have is the either of or either. You can use it in different ways as both, and it has different functions. It could be a determiner, a pronoun, an adverb, or a conjunction that refers to two choices or possibilities. Either or either of we have here refers to one of two things. That we have two things and you refer to one of them. So this is also singular, but it can be used in a negative form. The first function we have here, you can use as a determiner, is used before a singular countable noun to talk about two choices or possibilities. The noun we have before either or either of could be or must be a singular countable noun. If it's not, we have a different usage for it, so that we are going to cover later. But for the first one, when indicates that we have a singular countable noun, I don't like either book, um, the singular and countable noun, so you have to use either. But I don't like the either books, it's not correct. So how can we use it with plural nouns? Let's take a look. If either is followed by a plural noun, or these, the, those, which are determiners, we must have or we must use of with it. This is the same as the both we talked about before. Either of the children or either children can order the chocolate. You don't mind which. You don't mind which of the children, but you refer to one of them. I don't want either of my friends to visit me while working. Either my friends is incorrect. You cannot say either my friends or either the friends. You cannot say that. You have to say either of my friends. But you can say either friends. But you cannot say either my friends. You have to use either of. Either as a pronoun is used to mean a choice of one or the other of two people or things. As I told you, this is used to refer one of two things or two choices that we have. You can buy either or of these flowers to your mom. You can here you can buy each of the flower that's available for your mom. So refers to each of them alone. Here we have a note. Either and neither are singular subjects. So this is very important to focus on. So I hope you focus on it and try to understand it. So when we have either and neither or neither, the verb we have must be singular. So the verb that follows them has to be singular. Yeah. Either of the twin brothers has a big mole on their chest. Unless the subject we have here is plural, but we have to have a singular verb because either refers to one of them, not both of them together. Police are questioning the two suspects as either of them is the real killer. We have them here with plural, but the verb we have here is singular, as you see. Because either refers to one of them, either of them is the real killer. not both of them. The different function we have here either as an adverb that used after a negative verb. As I said, they can be used with negative forms. She doesn't like eggs and she doesn't like fish either. But you cannot say she doesn't like both fish and eggs. Either as a conjunction that could be used as a conjunctions to link two things together, to connect two clauses we have. This is mostly used with or as a conjunction. Either we go by train or we rent a car. Here we have two clauses. How do we know it's a conjunction? It's a conjunction because we have two clauses that both of them have their subject and their verb. The first one, we go by train, is the first clause, and we rent a car is the other clause. That here, either or is a conjunction that linked these two tenses together. This is a different subject, the clauses that we have, but the what's important to know is that you can use it as a conjunction. This is the usage of either and both that we have. And we are going to cover the different topic here, which is neither or neither of. Neither or neither has the same functions as either or either, but this one is a negative form of either. It holds a negative significance and allows us to make a negative statement about two people or two things at the same time. I'm not gonna go through the functions that we have because it's the same as either we had before. You can put it instead of either to figure out the functions that we have. But here we are talking about the ways of using it. So informal speaking singular verbs, the same, are used with it, whereas in informal speaking plural verbs are used. The basic formula that we have for it is using the singular verb because it refers to a singular subject. But if here is in informal speaking or informal writing, so you can use plural verbs. It makes sense. Neither of my best friends, or you can say neither best friends is interested in going to the university. Friends is plural here, but the verb we have is because neither of my best friends. From the meaning you can figure out, this is what I depend on. The most important thing in English, in every tense or anything we have is meaning. So before you apply the formula or anything, you have to understand the meaning. Because you may sometimes forget the formula you have, though you cannot memorize them. So depending on the meaning is very, very important. Neither of my best friends are interested in going to the university. No problem, but it's informal. You cannot use it in informal speaking or writing. Well, what we focused on here was the kinds of verbs that you can use or apply to neither or neither. Neither goes before singular countable nouns. Yeah. It means not either, which is a negative form of either. We said this, but here is a quick note. Neither student comes to see the lecture. Student here is a singular countable noun, but if you make it plural, so you have to say either of the students come to see the lecture. Here we have some errors that's used or that everyone made with neither, using neither. We use neither, not none, when talking about two people or things. None is the different thing that you can use to refer to things as a correlative conjunction, but here you have to use either, not none, when talking about negative things. Neither of us would like to order pizza. You cannot say not none of us like to order pizza because you refer to one of the two things that you have here. Take care of spell of neither correctly. Most of the people get confused about um, its spell because here we have is E before I, so don't get confused by writing I before E or like this formula. We don't have to write like this. So just focus on the spell we have. The different topic and two different things um, which used a lot and you were heard a lot I think, but you may don't know how to use them. Here the clarification for them. Each and every we have. Each is a way of seeing the members of a group as individuals. This is really needed to figure out by the meaning. Yeah, so this is very important to focus on the meaning to determine each of these two. Each is the way of seeing the members of a group as individuals, while every is a way of seeing a group as a series of members. Um, each and every um, has the same usage like from their functions or formula they have to use with singular nouns we have, but as the meaning they have different meanings. Each is a way of you seeing a group as a series of members, and they can only be used with countable singular nouns. Yeah. Each focuses on an individual person or item, not a group, while every is also used for individual, the focus is shifted to the group. Each can be used with plural nouns and pronouns, but it must be followed by of. The same, whereas every cannot be used with plural nouns. Let's look at some examples here. Study each chapter carefully. Study each of the chapters carefully. When we have a plural noun, you have to use of the with each, but you cannot use every with plural nouns. Never ever. But here, each chapter here is a singular countable noun, so you don't have to use of that. So this is directly comes before the noun we have. Here we have some notes about them. They are easy, I think. The only important thing we have is that each or every refers to a singular or countable noun, and they have singular meanings. But every refers to a group, but as a singular form. So be careful about that. It is more usual for a small number or amount, but every is for a large amount. Here is the other note. Each book of the table is mine. Each book. Just just wait and think about the meaning. Each book on the table is mine. I would like to visit every country around the world. To visit every country. Singular noun, but the meaning is like you talk about the some different countries that you would like to visit. Fourth, we say every, not each, to say how often something happened. There is a bus every 10 minutes. You cannot say there is a bus each 10 minutes. It doesn't make sense if you say each 10 minutes because every 10 minutes is a continuous action that you can talk about by using every. Each but not every can be used for two things, to refer to two things. In a football match, each team has 11 players. You cannot say every team because there's only two teams that we have that you can refer to them using singular noun which is team, and by using each you know that it's plural, plural meaning. Thank you so much for listening until here. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope you um, got a little bit clarification about the correlative conjunctions that we have. We have much more correlative conjunctions that we use in speaking or writing, but what we covered here were, just go back, were both of, as a reminder, and we had either of, and we had neither or neither, and also each and every. Knowing them is very important, and that's enough for today. I know that that was a long lesson today, but if yeah, I didn't put exercise here because that was too long, and we have a lot of or bunch of examples that you can go through and get information from them. But if you have any question, feel free to ask me by sending me emails, and this is my email here, mr115540@aus.edu.krd. Feel free to ask any question about the lesson, and thank you so much. Hope you have a good day. Goodbye.